Hi, Databricks community. Let us resume the chapter on Databricks Lakehouse platform. Previously, in part one, I have discussed about what is the difference between data warehouse, data lake, and data lake house. Going ahead, let us now look at how can we work with that lakehouse environment through the Databricks workspace. I'm using here Databricks Community Edition. I have already logged in and I'm at the compute menu. So when you are working with the Databricks, most likely you will be working with the Databricks workspace. You get to log in here using the credentials provided to you by the administrator, Databricks administrator, we could say. Um, this is one major interface. Fine, but otherwise you may be working using the IDE, like maybe VS Code and all, right? Even to work with the VS Code, you need the details of the Databricks workspace. Okay, what is the URL and what are your credentials? All those programmatically you have to configure for. Then only you will be, I could say, right, working with the Databricks platform. As of this, uh, the Databricks Community Edition 1, you would have already set up the account. And once you are logging to the Databricks Community Edition 1, it will be having unique URL as you see here. At the end, you will be having one ID in the form of O equals to. This is nothing but Databricks Workspace ID, which is going to be unique for every Databricks workspace. We could say in layman terms, this is nothing but the workspace is nothing but the web application given by the Databricks using which you can interact with different features of the Databricks. Fine. Those features are given to you in the form of the navigation bar over here. And depending on your role, some of these features may be visible to you and some may not be visible to you. But in the community edition, only these set of things we get to see. And as we look at maybe other concepts as we progress, we will take a look at maybe our own Databricks workspace, which we will be creating in the Azure portal. Fine. As of now, we could see here there is one shortcut menu option given to us in the form of the new. If I click on here, it is giving shortcut to upload the data, shortcut to create the notebooks, shortcut to create your machine learning experiment, and shortcut to create the cluster. So these options are there, and this list will vary in the Databricks Enterprise Edition. Fine. And then we have here workspace. So over the Databricks workspace, you could see internally uh, here an effort is made to segregate the working directory for different users. Fine. This is a community edition, so that's why you just have one working directory under the workspace, under the users. You are just there. But if it is shared one here, you will be finding one working directory for different users who are part of the workspace. So over here you can go about creating different folders and organizing your programs and all. Fine. So that is there. This is the home directory that you are into. Okay, workspace slash users slash your uh, ID will be there. Fine. And below that you are seeing workspace. This is where you get to see the shared ones and the users and all. If I click on users, here yeah, we are having only one, right? To this only we had the access in the form of the home. This is the home directory of the Databricks workspace for us, right? For the current user. Fine. So over here you go about organizing your content and all. We will come back here in some time. Let us just explore upon different options we have here. Below the workspace, we have recents, which gives you access to what you have recently accessed through the Databricks workspace. Below that, we have the search feature. You can search for different data related assets or the notebooks or queries, whatever you would have created through the Databricks workspace. You can search for them from here, right? This search bar is very useful, and it is being powered by AI and Unity catalog and our search facilities. Good. Next, below that we have the catalog. Right? This catalog menu will help you find the different data objects that you may be creating in the Databricks platform. What are these data objects? The data related objects. They will be nothing but catalogs, the databases, the tables, the functions, the views that you create. Coming to ML, the models that you create, all those, right? You get to find the menu of those items from here. I had taken this analogy in the previous clips also. When you happen to visit the restaurant, they will provide you the menu card, okay, which tells what are the different set of items available in that restaurant for us, and we will be picking from those set of the menu items, right? So just like here, this catalog will be giving you list of the menu items and maybe little of brief information about those menu items from this catalog option. So whatever you create, if at all new items you are going to create, they will get added on to this catalog. Fine. So that is there. As of this community edition, you get to see here only the databases, right? And we have the provision of creating the table from here as well. You could find while working with the Databricks workspace, there can be multiple places which are offering the way to create maybe same entity, right? You have been given provision of creating table here. You have the provision of creating notebook from here. Likewise, you have the provision of creating notebook from here as well. Workspace, create, and we have option of creating notebook. So there can be multiple contexts which are giving you the way to create the same thing, right? And depending on the context, they are trying to keep the things handy for us. Fine. That is a catalog which gives you the list of things available in your workspace. Next, we have the workflows feature, which is not available in the community edition. Right. This is where I was saying for some things, community edition is good and you can practice over here. For other things, right, you may have to switch on to the Express edition. And if your Express edition is exhausted, you may have to switch on to the Azure, the free credits version and all. If that is also exhausted, then you have to go for pay as you go, right? And that option, and you have to practice upon the things. Fine. Next up, we have here the compute, which gives you way for creating the clusters. So upon here, you could see in the community edition, we find only two things, all purpose and the job compute. Fine. What we will be creating from here is the all purpose compute. You have to go here for create compute and you can give a name to it. This is editable, and other things you don't worry, right? You keep it at their default and simply hit upon the create compute. Fine. So once you do that, it may take 5-10 minutes of the time, and a cluster gets created as you see here. So uh, in just a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, we got the Databricks cluster up and running. Fine. Now let us look at the details of it. So this is what the cluster is made up of. The cluster has just the one driver node. It was somewhere listed. Let us go back to compute here. Actually, it's not giving that detail because it is a community edition, but it is just single machine cluster. It has a 15 GB of the RAM and two CPU cores. Fine. And we created this cluster using the UI. This information also we are finding. And at this moment, there is no notebook attached to this cluster. That's why notebooks is hyphen, right? Nothing we are expecting to be executing on this cluster. Right? That's why that hyphen. Important piece of information that I should be discussing here is the what I could say, the Databricks runtime version, right? Databricks runtime version is something that is built upon the Spark engine. Fine. You could see here this Databricks runtime version of 12.2 is built upon the Apache Spark 3.3 and Scala 2.12. What is this about? As I was speaking about, Apache Spark is a distributed data processing engine. It's a framework which is written using Scala, which is a language, and Scala in turn is written using the Java. Fine. So here, that version matching is given, right? Apache Spark 3.3 is developed using Scala 2.12. So that information we have. You may ask, like, if it is just the Spark that we are using, why we are giving different versions and why we are calling it as a Databricks runtime. Uh, Apache Spark is an open source one, and the Databricks is building on top of it, right? It will be trying to make the things work in an efficient way, okay, on top of the Spark. So that's why Databricks comes up with the new features added onto the Spark, and it keeps on enhancing those features and through the different releases and the versions. At this time, by default, Databricks 12.12 is chosen, but then the recent one is being actually uh, Databricks runtime 15.4. That is the latest stable version, right? We have till 17 and all, which is in beta, but 15.4 is the latest stable version that we have. But for our learning as of this point, 12.2 is good enough and we can proceed. Fine. Here you are taking look at driver type and all, right? So this is a single machine cluster. This is what I was mentioning. And this cluster, whatever you create, it's going to auto terminate after ideal period of 1 or 2 hours. Okay, this is done by default. Okay, I created this cluster actually 15-20 minutes back. It is still available to me, though I didn't use it because it is still within the ideal period of 1-2 hours. If I leave this unused for 1 hour or so, it will be automatically terminated. If the cluster is getting automatically terminated, the only way to get it created again is you have to hit upon this create compute and you have to create the new cluster. There may be provision here to start the cluster, but that won't work in the community edition because this is a free edition and the limited one. But in enterprise edition, if at all the cluster that you had started is stopped, you have provision of restarting it. But here we don't have. Every time when it is stopped, you have to recreate the new cluster. That limitation is there. But that doesn't mean that you are going to lose something that you have created. It will be there, right? Whatever notebooks you create, all those will be available to you till the lifetime. Fine. So that is there. So do not worry on it. Fine. So that is this cluster. So whatever cluster we created, that comes under the category of all-purpose compute. Meaning these are the interactive clusters. They are available for the development phase. Okay, you can use them for iterative development. You can debug your programs and all that. Right? They're available as long as you want them. That's why they called as all-purpose clusters or the iterative or the interactive clusters we call them. Right? So this is one of the important piece of the knowledge that is being tested in your associate level exam. The difference between the all-purpose compute and the job compute. Fine. So all-purpose compute is something that you get to create through the UI, and it is available as long as you want it throughout your development phase. Fine. In contrast, the job compute is something which you don't get to create here. Even in the enterprise edition, if you visit this tab, you don't have any provision of create job compute. Okay, why is that is job compute is something that will be utilized during execution of the job only. But what is this job? Job is something that you have already developed in the form of the application, and it is being automated to be executed at maybe scheduled time. And when that app needs to be executed, or that end-to-end flow needs to be executed, a cluster will be spinned up and it will be available as long as that pipeline or the app is still under execution, and it will be terminated once the job is done. Okay, so you don't get to see it uh, outside the scope of the job execution. So that is the job compute sitting out there, and you don't get to create it here. You will be getting option of creating it when you create the job. Fine. So that is the thing over there. Okay. So this is about your clusters and all. As of this point, this is quite enough, and we have the cluster running. Let us go about now working with the Databricks by creating notebooks and all. So here we have the provision, but before you create the notebook, you can go about creating the folder, and that way you can organize the different programs that you create and all. Okay, let us explore one after the other all these. Fine. Let us name this folder as maybe learning, and let us say create. Now we are inside the learning folder. Workspace users, your current username, and the learning folder. This is where you can go about creating the notebook. Let me simply say notebook. Fine. With that, we got here some setup, and you can change name of it. This is editable field, and let us call it as notebook 1 NB1. And every notebook comes with a language, just like the notebooks, right? You use in your studies. You go about writing some maybe important things over there. When it comes to Databricks development, you can have notebooks, and different notebooks can be used to create a different set of the code blocks, we could say here. And the notebooks language is Python by default, but do not worry, you are not restricted to that. You can write your Databricks programs using either Python, SQL, Scala, or R language. R is data science language, we say. You can use any of these, but by default, when you are creating the notebook, its language happens to be Python. Okay, this is the meaning of these two things. This is the name of the notebook, and this is the language of the notebook. Fine. Below that, you get some menu options. You spend some time, exploring the different options that are present over there. You could see we have creating new notebook option, importing the notebooks from the outside, right? Someone may be sharing their notebook. You will be having provision of importing that notebook into this workspace. And other options are there like new notebook dashboard, changing the default cell language, cloning of the notebook. This is what duplicating, rename it, export. This is for sharing it, right? You are exporting, as the name says, so that you can share it with others, right? Moving the notebook from one directory to other directory, deleting it. A notebook format by default, it is going to be interactive Python notebook. It's better you keep it. Okay, that is the default one also we have. And then we have provisions of creating table, upload data to the DBFS. Some data is required to process it, right? Where do you bring the data from? So it is giving here the provision of uploading that data. Fine. Under the edit, we have some things like uh, in the form of cells and all they are speaking. What is this cell? The notebook is made up of cells, just like how your notebooks are made up of the lines. Here, the notebook is made up of the cells, and in each cell, you go about writing the different code blocks. Fine. By default, in the notebook that you have created, a cell is already present, and cell as a name, as you see here, and this is editable. This is a cell number one, but further you can go about editing it. Okay, I'm just calling it as first cell, and even the cells will be having the language. Overall, at the notebook level, we have the language being assigned, and at the cell level also we have the language, and this is the Python. Fine. You have option of bringing the cells to the focus mode and all, which will be helpful when you have lengthy notebooks and lot many number of lines of code and all. That is helpful. Next up here we have the kebab menu, over where again you have some options to play around with the cells and all, hiding the code, hiding the result, clearing the output, something like that and all. You have options. You will get to know them, right, as we proceed. There can be scenarios wherein maybe, right, we will try to play around and you will understand them. At the left, you have the option of executing the contents of the cell and so on. And here, run the cell, run selected text, run all above, run all below, like that and all. We have provisions. What are those? We will get to see. Then we have here the view. Okay, different notebook view and all. It's there, which says it is active. Let us go about it. Some provisions are even new for me, and anyway, it's already open. Okay, notebook view active it says, and in notebook view only we have something they are speaking about here. The notebook, new notebook dashboard. So this I'm seeing it as a new provision. Maybe other day we will discuss it. Okay, I will try to explore what it is and we will get back to that. This is the new feature I am observing. Fine. And I'm back at the cell here. There is option of run to run whatever, right? All of the notebook at once and such kind of things. We have it here. And it gives the timestamp. Okay. When this was last modified and all, that option we get to see here. Then run all is for running the entire notebook as I was mentioning. Then here, where do you run this notebook? So cluster is required. So this is where we have provision of connecting the notebook to the cluster connect, and the cluster, it is already up and running, right? It is suggesting it. So we have to say connect the notebook to the cluster. We call this to be attaching the notebook to the cluster. Let me just click on this down arrow now, and you get to see the cluster to which it is connected and its details. And then you have the provision of detaching. Maybe by mistake, you connected your notebook to some other cluster, and you may have to detach it and uh, attach it to the other cluster. Sometimes some small bugs are there, and you want to detach and reattach the cluster uh, and the notebook. Fine. Other provisions are related to the cluster itself, restarting the cluster, terminating the cluster, and so on. We have the things. Fine. As of now, let's not focus. Right. We will see. For associate, we are focusing now for on the notebook section. Fine. You have provision of sharing it, and you have provision of publishing it and all. Let us say, for example, I publish. Once it is published, it gives you the URL. You can share this URL with your friends, right? And they will be able to, use it to import the notebooks into their workspaces and all. Let me simply say done over here. So that way, notebooks provide for collaborative development. Over here, you are seeing some other things also, comments. The different developers can provide comments over here. Okay, I let the code to add comments and all they're saying. And then we have experiments. This is something related to ML flow, machine learning. Do not worry. Version history. We don't have any version history as such, right? Version history is empty. We don't have anything, right? Because I just added this cell name, nothing else, right? So let us exit it. And then we have provision of maintaining variables. If at all some variables are being used in this notebook, they will be listed here. Then what libraries we are using in this notebook, those will be listed here. So this way, the notebooks maintain for different versions of the notebook as well. This is a Python notebook, so let us write simple Python code here. Let me say print hello Databricks community. Okay, and how shall I execute it? I can just click on this play button here, and it is executed. We have it here. Now let us check the history. Okay, it says earlier it was blank, but now we have added the code. Which one you would like to save? This is the one, right? Let us save it. Okay, versions. You can name those versions also. I will say this is the version one of my notebook, which has just the I could say, right, print statement in it. This is the version one of my notebook. Like this, you can go about maintaining different versions for your notebook and you get to select them from here. Okay. So that way notebook support for version control at the notebook level. Fine. Now I have to write some more amount of the code. Then you can add one more cell here. Click on the plus code and you get the provision of adding. And let us say maybe simply x equals to 10. This is Python, right? Python notebook. So you can write all of your Python over here and that should be fine. So let us simply say execute and this is fine. This is executed. And if you want to save this as some other version, you can save it. Your save now option is there. Maybe you can save this to the version 2 of the notebook. And at any given point of time, you can choose the version of interest for you, right? From here. So these are the things we have. But this versioning we are able to do at the notebook level only. But then we will be having uh, so many number of notebooks in our programs as we develop code and all. So how do we go about maintaining versions between the notebooks and among the users, right? So that's where uh, these are not the good tool to just go about collaboration. We need a collaboration behind the notebooks, beyond the notebooks and all. That's where integration of the Databricks with the Git is required. Fine, which we don't get to see it in the community edition. But that browser we have it with the enterprise edition and all. Okay, get repo. Okay, you have the option of creating the repo. We say that's nothing but cloning of the Git repository onto the Databricks workspace, and you can work on it, and you can commit your changes and all, and you can push back your changes to the central repository of the Git. Right. So that provisions also we have it. Okay. So, so these were the important uh, points that are of interest for the Lakehouse platform chapter. Let us take a look at what other things are pending for us. So, where was it? The exam guide was there. I had opened it. Let us check. No, we don't. We don't have it. It's here. Let us check. So all these are covered, right? So different elements of architecture I have not covered. Differentiate all purpose and job clusters, it's done. How cluster software is versioned, we have told. Identify how clusters can be filtered to those that are accessible by the user. In communication, we don't get this provision, right? It's just based on the UI. You can just see the clusters that are accessible to you and which are not. Terminating the clusters and UI options will be there and you will be able to do it. Multiple languages are supported within the same notebook that we have seen. Identify how to run one notebook from the other notebook. This is through using percentile run. Okay, nothing much here. So we will cover it anyway. Identify how the notebooks can be shared with others. Describe. So this repose one, as I told, right? In community edition, we don't get to see it. But sometimes the questions are being asked over this section. Fine, just refer to the official documentation and you get to see there what you can do with the Databricks repos and what you can't do. Fine, so that thing we have it. Okay, let us talk about the different options here. So far, you looked at only creating the Python language cells, but you can create cells of other language also. When I created the cell, by default it is a Python cell, but you can change it to SQL like this, and you can write your SQL code over here. Let us say I will write select the current user. You should be printing your username. Well and good, right? So you are seeing the current username. So this way, though by default notebook language is Python, you get to write other language code blocks also within the notebook, which is very nice thing. And whatever you are seeing here at the beginning, right? Since it is a Python notebook, you are trying to bring in here the other language code block. Before that other language statement, you are seeing there is one statement or some keyword which is nothing but percentile SQL. Likewise, let us say I would like to document this notebook. For that, I have the provision of adding the text, right? Text cell, code cell, text cell. Text cells you can use for documenting your notebook. The moment I added the text cell, it is having this keyword here at the top, percentile MD, and I can say here this is to show documentation. Okay, whenever someone is looking at your notebook, they should understand looking at this documentation what things we are trying to do. Fine, and this is a bit easy nowadays. It is giving us a editor here itself. If you want, you can make it bold, italic, some code block if you want to insert here some image, right? Making it as header, all those provisions we have it. Now come out of the cell and hit here. You can see that it is being rendered as markup language. This is a markdown cell we are saying, right? So this percentile MD, this percentile SQL and all are nothing but what we say as magic commands. These are the magic commands and they are helpful for writing different language code block within the notebook. You get to write your bash script and all by using percentile sh. Likewise, to run one notebook from the other notebook, you may be having multiple notebooks, right? To run the contents of notebook 1 in notebook 2, you will be using something called as percentile run, right? So this is the fact that somewhere it was mentioned in the exam guide, right? So these were the crucial points for your Lakehouse platform, right? And other points as we come across with other topics and at the end as we implement one mini case study, you'll be understanding them. So with this, I'm closing on this Lakehouse platform chapter, and we will be continuing with the next one, that is ELT with the Apache Spark soon. Thank you. Stay tuned.